It's Robbie here from ArsenalFanTV down here at Westfield, about to go into the smokehouse to meet Levi Roots, the man behind one of the most successful brands in the UK. And guess what? He's a gooner as well. Let's go and meet him.
Respect. I see that. Cool. You've been in these parts of town here, passing through my place.
Passing through your place. It's an honour to meet you, Levi. Levi Roots. What a lot of people don't realise is that Levi Roots is a big Arsenal fan.
Yes, I am indeed. I'm a gooner, and I love it.
Listen, we got a lot of famous gooners, and I didn't even realise you was an Arsenal fan. So it's great to have you on board.
Absolutely, I'm a Brixton boy, man. You know, and that definitely Brixton was always a place, an Arsenal type of place. Especially Ian Wright didn't come too far from where I was from in Brixton, and we always followed him when we were kids and stuff. So yeah, ever since I was at school, I've always been an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Now listen, before I get into some Arsenal talk with you, I've got to talk to you about yourself and your journey. Now, I remember back in the day, before the Reggae Reggae sauce and the whole restaurant and everything that you've done, the incredible stuff that you've done. I remember you being on a sound system back in the day, Coxon in Brixton. I remember those days because I'm kind of from that background as well. Now, tell us about that.
Well, it was the most inspiring time of my life because those were the times when you were changing. You know, for me, it was changing from somebody that couldn't focus at school and really struggling when I left Jamaica. My parents sent for me and come to this cold country, which I just would
it's
never
still cold.
used to, absolutely like now. But as a boy, then coming over here and never experienced snow, never seen people like white people before. I come from Clarendon, so in those days, you only saw the people that were around in your village. And then when I came here, it was this massive big wide world, and then I came straight to Brixton. But the good thing was about Brixton when I did eventually came over, it was the place for Afro-Caribbean community. And I could see all the foods that I missed so madly. I miss, you know, my ackee and saltfish and my mangoes and all the lovely fruits of the Caribbean. But when I got to Brixton Market, I saw it all there splayed out in front of me. So I kind of got used to the fact that this was a Caribbean place, and even though I missed Jamaica, but because I was in this beautiful place of Brixton, it kind of helped me to settle in a little bit better.
And you was quite big on the music scene, you know, that you, with sound systems. You used to move around with that sound, Coxon back in the day, which was one of the biggest sound systems in the country. And I remember seeing you used to be like singing and everything.
Well, it was brilliant because I was spotted by the owner of the sound, Lloydie Coxon. I was about 17 at the time, and you know, I always wanted to be on the microphone, always wanted to sing. And I had a song called Poor Man's Story, and he heard it, and I was DJing on the sound and singing, and he said to me, "Oh, Levi, it's your time to record now." And I was only 17 at the time, and never in the day would I ever thought I would become a recording artist. And he recorded that song, Poor Man's Story, and the sound system called Jashaka, even though I wasn't a member of Jashaka, but for some reason Jashaka always played my songs, and he played Jehovah, which was perhaps one of my biggest hits back in the day as well too. So sound system was the most inspiring time for me. It helped me with that change of being somebody that always had the potential to do something, but always on the verges of it. But sound system came and the music, it was such an inspiring thing for me.
Now tell us about how you got, you know, I kind of know the story, but tell us about this whole journey, how you've become, you know, one of the most famous, you know, people when it comes to food products and that in this country. That journey where you were spotted on the program, I mean, tell us about it.
Well, it was very jammy. I was very jammy and lucky because my moments on Dragons, and I was rubbish. I was rubbish, Robbie. I was perhaps one of the worst persons to ever been.
You wasn't rubbish on Dragons then.
Well, I did get my numbers wrong, and I was sweating like a pig, if you remember, for me. But I don't think the Dragons were as interested in that. I think it was the passion of someone with something new that was coming up, someone that had a unique selling point. That wasn't saying that, oh, I've got some sauce that I think can sell. Like, you know, I had a backstory to go with it. I'd done my market research. I knew that there wasn't a Caribbean hot pepper sauce on the table that could challenge your Heinz tomato ketchup and all the other sort of table sauces that there was. I did a lot of my research at the Carnival because that's where I started with my little stall that I called the Restaurant. The restaurant.
Restaurant, I love that.
And we did it for years at the carnival, and I knew there was a sort of gap in the market for Caribbean food, but also there was a gap in the market for a Caribbean type chef as well, for someone who could inspire other people, not just about the food, but to inspire them to get up and actually to cook it, to start buying cookery books and find out what Caribbean food was about. And that was how I managed to get on Dragons Den. But the Dragons wasn't looking for perfectuality. They were looking for somebody with passion. And because I merged music and food together, I was perhaps the only one that, could have the audacity to try that, to say that I want to put some music in the food. But it was that concept that I think that Peter Jones brought into, because now it's 10 years now, and the brand is going fantastic.
Wow, and that brand is everywhere. I went into a shop yesterday, packet of crisps, reggae crisps, coconut curry flavour crisps.
I'm thinking of
they taste nice as well.
Bling as well, the reggae bling as well. Well, the brand, I think the most important thing is about the brand. It wasn't about just the sauce. The sauce was just one sauce at the time when I was on Dragons Den, but it was the branding of the Levi Roots brand. I think that was the turning point for us. That gives me the opportunity not just to have sauces, now to have the crisp and the drinks, and to whatever inspires me, I think, providing that I don't sell out and start doing silly things on the Levi Roots brand. But I do think the branding is the most important thing.
I'd say it's one of the most famous brands now in the UK, one of the most recognisable brands, and to have your face on that brand, it must be you must be very proud.
Well, I am, and I think of my grandma, who, as you know, I talk about her a lot because she was the one that taught me to cook, and the recipe, of course, is hers, because she was the first one that brought these flavors to me when as a little boy. So I owe everything to my family, including my kids who were there when I started at the carnival. It was me and my 6 kids, and people used to just to come and see this Rastaman and say, this Rastaman with his whole heap of picnic them and singing this reggae sauce thing. What is that about? And that's how we managed to inspire people. So it was a family effort. So I've always said that, this is about family and it's about nothing else.
And now you got this place. Restaurant opposite.
The restaurant, Robbie. Come on, man. It's not a restaurant. It's a restaurant.
The restaurant opposite Jamie Oliver's restaurant, just a restaurant, or his is a restaurant, it's a restaurant.
Yes.
I mean, and this place I've been here before actually, by the way, and the food here is brilliant. The setting, I love the setting, how it's sort of designed like you feel like you're in Jamaica, you feel like you're, on the beach or something. It's brilliant.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, I didn't think no longer does Caribbean food belong in a back street in Hackney or in Brixton and these places where if you were driving past at night and you were a white couple from somewhere in the Shires and you thought that you maybe want to stop and have some jerk chicken, but when you see some unscrupulous guy standing up outside, you thought, nah, actually I'm not going to stop. It's not like
those
that
places.
anymore. I
still eat at them places.
Or it was you outside of the places standing up outside with unscrupulous faces. Now, I really do think that Caribbean food deserves to be here in Westfield amongst your Jamie Olivers and all these other fantastic brands that we are now. This is the time now for us that we have stepped up the game. So it's brilliant that I am one of the few that are out there now that are doing the right thing.
No, it's brilliant. Now, listen, let's talk Arsenal now. Right, you're a big Arsenal fan.
I am,
how did you get into Arsenal?
Well, I was at school at the time, and when I first came over this country here, it was South London. You were thinking that, what team, and I knew that I didn't want to support a team because a lot of my friends were United supporters. And I was thinking, how can you be a United supporter and you live in bloody Brixton? you got to live it where you are. And I wanted to have a team that was more me. It was South London. And even though Arsenal was in North London, I dug deep even when I was younger. And I found that the Arsenal was actually a South London team. And when I found that out, it just makes it more to me. I wanted to support this team. And George Graham at the time, I think he wanted to create a more Afro-Caribbean mixed culture type of team. Because I do remember back in the day when Arsenal played a full, I think it was 11 outfield players once that were Afro-Caribbean or black players. And it really inspired me because as a young kid then, especially living in Brixton where it's so uninspirational when it comes to people coming in and trying to inspire young people to do better things with it.
And there was a lot of racism in those days as well, wasn't there?
There was, because there was a slight chance of me becoming like a supporter across the road from here, not too far, the bridges and stuff, which wasn't good in those days. So I was really glad that, that Arsenal took took on this mantra of being this multicultural team. And of course, you know, later on, Ian Wright, you know, he was a Southwest boy, you know, so it was brilliant when he joined, and I became an Arsenal fan for life.
And Arsenal fan for life. So you've been there in the good times, the Invincibles and all those times, and you've been there in the recent, quite rough times, but we're kind of on the up again at the moment.
Yeah, we are, you know, and even though we say rough times, but there's still always good times because we're always in there, you know, we're always in there fighting for something. You know, we may not get it at the very end of it, but while we're in it, we're still all Arsenal, you know what I'm saying? And I'm never one of them that cuss the team down or anything like that. We do have bad times, but I do think that the team is quite solid, especially now. I think it's one of the best I've seen the team up into the way the season is at this particular moment. I've never seen us better, apart from the All Invincibles time. You know, that we're kicking asses and stuff like that, and the team looks really solid. So for me, it's about the future now.
Your favourite player now and your favourite player in the past?
Yeah, well, now it's got to be Coquelin, isn't it? I love Coquelin because I'm one of those kind of guys that love a real fighter in the team. You know, I love somebody that would
like the rough tactics.
Rough tactic with blood, sweat, and tears. Would go out there and will do it. A bit like our Ian Wright, which is my favourite all-time player. These people, you know, they've got it on their forehead. You know, you shall not pass, or I've got to score on the forehead. And I think Francis Coquelin is one of them. So I'm loving him at the moment.
Now you're quite near to West Ham, I mean, you know, the whole stadium thing and that, and you know, they're kind of going through a lot, West Ham, with their stadium, like what we went through initially at our stadium.
Yeah, they are. You know, but I think when you move home, and you know, football is no different than a family that has uprooted from, you know, where they're so inspiring and everything is happening around them there, and then all of a sudden you're uprooted and you're somewhere else. It does takes you time to kind of, you know, feel the blades of grass and, you know, and kiss every tree and everything like that's around you. And I think that's what's happening to West Ham at this moment. But I have no doubt that they will find their pace, man. They definitely will.
Split loyalties when you know you're right near to West Ham now. You'll have a lot of West Ham. Although, listen, it's Westfield, so you'll have loads of Arsenal fans coming into your restaurant as well. But do you want to, you know, you sort of have a little thing that sort of says to you, I want West Ham to do well?
Well, you know, it's that type of thing that you have a slight dual type thing like that here when it happens like that, because West Ham is a South London team as well. Even though, you know, definitely I want the Gunners to win, but I'd love West Ham to give them a really good game. I think that's the best thing that I can say, as because my loyalties is split here. But I'd love West Ham to play a really good game. But I'd love it if Giroud scores the winner in the last minute.
Can Arsenal win the title this season?
It'd be a tough one. I don't know whether I can make that call, you know, Robbie. I think that we'll definitely sort of do our usual bit. Again, I wouldn't put it on Wenger to say that you got to win it this time around, because he's doing so well to change from the days when we were really struggling, and now it's gotten better. And as things goes, even in business, you take it tier by tier. So now he's got to this position that he's got a really good team. And last week it was one of the first times that I saw we had so many substitutes that were fit, and the whole team that looks like they were ready to play. So I don't know about this season for them to do it, but I do think the following season that if he doesn't win it, then it will be a waste of this fantastic journey which they're on of lately.
Arsenal win the league. This is a scenario now, yeah? Arsenal win the league. They ring you up and they said, yo, Levi, let's prepare a meal, a winning meal for the champions. What's the ideal dish?
Oh, man. Well,
they come down to the smokehouse. What are you going to cook up for them?
Well, the ideal dish would have to be the number one thing at the moment, which is going to, and it's not the jerk chicken I got to have, because everybody knows that. But when they come into the place now, everybody's talking about the curry goat, man. It's about the curry goat.
I had that last time. That is nice.
So I think I would cook a nice, lovely curry goat, but I know there's probably a couple of vegetarian in the team as well. So I'd probably do some Ital stuff, and Ital is what Bob Marley would have had. It's like really healthy stuff that, you know, to really keep the heart pumping. So it'd be a mixture.
Wenger would like that.
He would love that. So it'd be a mixture of curry goat and some Ital vegetarian vegan stuff.
You know what? Just on that, with food now, I mean, there is a lot more, and it's something that Wenger started when he first came to Arsenal, and there's a lot more moves towards healthy foods. And so do you do a lot of that here as well?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, as a Jamaican, still, you know, a few good old cornmeal dumpling wouldn't go to amiss around some of the players around there, because they do wonders. These cornmeal dumpling, and
Ursula could do with a couple of them.
Ursula could do with a couple of cornmeal dumpling. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's just been, for me, it's amazing to meet you. Your journey has been incredible. I don't. Have you done a book yet? I know you've done cookbooks and that, but have you done a book on you?
Yeah, I have, and it's really inspiring. I did a book called "You Can Get It If You Really Want," and the title just really says it all for me, because you know, a lot of people will think that, you know, it's rocket science to do the movements that I've done and be successful in business, but it's just that if you really want it, you know, you've got to really want it, and you got, as Shakespeare said it, you got to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Because once you get there, then it's the slings and arrows part of it, you know, because then you open up yourselves to all sorts of, you know, people throwing things at you, and you got to have tough skin. So it is a double-edged sword, you know. You want to get there, but when you get there, you got to actually hold on tight to it, and that's where my fists, I'm holding on tight to the slings and arrows of my outrageous fortune.
Well, listen, I'm very proud of you, proud of what you've done, and I'm so, you know what, when I heard you as an Arsenal fan, I was so happy. I was like, the best food in the land is prepared by an Arsenal fan. That is brilliant. I wish you all the success with this place. Tell us again where it is, the smokehouse, how we get here. Give us some details on it.
Well, as I said, it's not a restaurant, guys. It's a restaurant. And we are located in the Westfield Shopping Centre. And it's absolutely brilliant. So come on down. And if you want to join us on Twitter, it's Levi Smokehouse or Caribbean Smokehouse. Or you can follow me, Levi Roots Music, and then we can become friends for life. So respect you and keep the fire blazing.